Hello guys and welcome back to the JGL pre-made on the 22nd of January. I'm here joined by Casp for his second game of the afternoon, and we are going to be watching Perception versus Clarted, and once again on Cash, as it is just such a glorious map. We are now live into the knife round, so give me some thoughts on who you think is going to win, what the outcomes of this are going to be, Casp.
Well, Clarted are known to be very, very talented as they got into, I think, the finals last week, so it'll be interesting to see them try and push back, get back into that second place position, maybe try and even get first. I think they have come first a few times, but this is a chance for Perception to prove themselves, I believe. I'm not sure if they've made it through this exactly, I can't remember that far back, because I have obvious amnesia, but ends up Perception actually winning the knife round, so they're going to be able to choose their side.
Yeah, Clarted actually have won two pre-mades so far. So, you know, they are not currently the rating champion. However, they weren't present at the last pre-made, which is why they weren't even able to contend. This is their first week back playing on the pre-made, so they're getting ready to win themselves another title, I do believe. But there is some strong competition going up against them. We've got Joke, two professional players, one ex-professional player, so they are going to be a real contender for this one. So I think it's going to be interesting going into this. But we are going to see four armors coming out here on the side of Clarted, with just a little bit of utility there on Flakes. Potentially looking for a bit of a fake towards a drag a player out and heading back towards that B site to do with the bomb.
Yeah, but it looks like a lot of the players are ready for a retake on the A site, so if they try and push it, they might force a quick CT rotate, which could be very effective as they do have that bomb towards B connector. As you can see here, the two players are towards the car position and the B players are rotating off the side, leaving the T's to just push straight into B on their own.
Yeah, absolutely, and as a few frags get traded, that is going to drag both players off B now, and it is going to be an absolute walk into that B site. As you can see, the bomb going down now, and they're still not quite sure what's going on. They're so split up here, but the rotate does come in eventually. However, a 3v3 situation here. The T's do manage to get one. Blurry takes down Ray. That's puts into a 3v2, but there's a T on the site. Going to go down there. Power not quite able to do the damage, and now the last man alive on just 16 HP. Cries is doing what he can. Gets the nice little headshot there onto Flakes, but he can't quite take him down. He's going to be looking to go through those vents, see what damage he can get done. Such low health, you can't expect too much, and JP's going to take him down. That's going to be the pistol round going the way of Clarted. Yep, that's a really good start.
Yeah, they completely played them. They read them like a book. They made them all rotate onto that A site and just push the B. So it shows that they really do know good strategies on how to get people to rotate around. And since the Cash is known for a very, very long rotate through CT, it's not surprising that they tried a strategy like that, and it ended up working for them.
Yeah, absolutely. But the amount of damage that got done by those three players that were attacking onto the A site, they might as well have just gone A, to be completely honest. And it was a perfect little fake, but when you're getting two frags and one man lit down to just 16 HP, then it doesn't really matter. But the push comes out here. They've taken complete mid-control on the side of Clarted. And one man towards B, just making sure no one pushes. That's pretty well. He's going to find one head, take it down, and find Ray taking the second one. That's going to be the way straight into this round, giving themselves a very quick advantage. And these CTs finding themselves a little bit out of position, not quite sure what they can do at this point in a 5v3 situation.
Yeah,
What do they do now?
It looks like they're just going to try and eco here. Save, sorry. Save the weapons that they have, the armor. They had no chance of retaking this, and probably very, very little chance of actually taking the weapons off the T's if Clarted. So they're most likely just going to try and save their armor, try and save their helmets, and make sure they can survive into the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no point wasting them away here, but I do believe that Clarted are going to be going on the hunt here. Every kill that you get with one of those SMGs is going to award you $600 in the pocket. So if they can go for that, they will.
Yep. But it looks like the CTs have got quite a good hold on this squeaky door area, and it doesn't look like the T's are actually going to be going towards that position just yet. So they'll most likely be able to save these weapons and body armor as well.
Yeah, it's so important to establish that early round economy. So Clarted not going to be going for too much of a hunt there, just saving themselves. Making sure that going into this next round, they still have all that equipment. They don't have to rebuy anything. That is going to give them a good solid base to establish their economy on. And it looks like the B player is going to be coming out again. Much less of a mid-presence. And a little bit of a stack here. 4 people going towards this B site. This could really catch Clarted out if they're not careful. So moving on to this site now. Taking a peek on Power. Going to get taken down by JP. They're not being rewarded for that aggression. He is going to go down. That's going to be the first pick going in the way. Clarted Perception now. Was the man with no armor. However, still not going to be doing too much good for their T side. And the nade goes in, does a little bit of damage. He gets lit down, but he's going to get finished off by that. shot straight away. Grizik managed to get himself a frag, but that's about all he is going to be rewarded with. All those armored players now down, and Ray finds a man in the back, but just about manages to take him down there. Looking a little bit sketchy, and his position given away. Gonna find himself a UMP, but being hunted by those deadly SMGs, it may not do him too much good, especially if they peek out. Now the head's been spotted, and he does go down eventually.
Yeah, it was very interesting. This T's pushed on the site that was stacked as the A site was completely open and looking for just sort of retake play. But they pushed onto that B site and they completely dominated it, which is a very strong and very confident play by them.
Yeah, and taking down so many players, they really are looking strong going into their first buy round. If they can string a few rounds together here, they may potentially be able to put Clarted onto an eco quite quickly, due to taking both players down there. And the boost does come out, caught out by Power with the orb. That's going to be the opening pick going the way of Clarted. And suddenly, going the way of Perception. My mistake. It's looking a lot better for the CT side. All they have to do now is sit back on the sites and wait for the aggression to come to them.
Yeah, and it looks like Don'ty's actually boosted up in vent, so there's a lot of pressure on the mid to make sure that the T's can't take it, which allows the CTs to be able to, you know, spread out more evenly across both sides. They won't have to take that long rotate through CT spawn. So Jammy James and Don'ty are actually setting up a really good crossfire in mid to make sure that they keep this area concealed or secure.
Yeah, the mid area in cache is so important, especially for T's. It opens up so many more routes of attack, and the flashbang looks like it's going to be a crystal smoke going in the middle there. Jammy James not being caught out by that flash at all, and as he takes the peak, he takes down one, but taken down eventually, traded out by Don'ty there. The AWP shot not quite connecting. JP couldn't quite make it happen, but they just find him, and he does, takes him down. Now 1v3. JP, the man to do it all. The bomb down in mid. Not sure the CTs know it yet, but if they do, they're going to be all over that. Now, JP, not quite sure what he can do.
Yeah, it was very good crossfire in mid, as I was saying before, and it just showed that they could get those easy frags. Jammy James ending up taking 2, and now it's just JP all alone against 3, so he's going to most likely just trying to save this off, make sure he can take it into the next round.
Yeah, with only 16 seconds remaining, it may be the only option he has. He may try and do a bit of a dash here, but no, as you said, looks like he's just going to be going for that save. Only 8 seconds left now. And the CT, strangely enough, not too hungry for him.
Yeah, the money...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry, the money's pretty low on overall on the CT side, so they don't really want to lose any more weapons than they have. They want to build that CT economy because, of course, they've lost the last 3 rounds. If they lose another, they'll most likely be forced on eco, so they're trying to make sure the money's always secure.
Yeah, and as I said before the beginning of that last round, if they can string these rounds together, they may just put this economy to bed for Clarted. Now looking potentially at an eco next round for Clarted if they can't put this round in. And if they do, Perception are going to be on absolutely nothing as the economy is going to be reset. And only one man towards the A site. This could be absolutely fatal for Perception. This mid control is very powerful, unless it's completely avoided, which potentially it could be. A good read coming up from Clarted here, knowing they're playing 2 men in mid, as they got caught out by it last round. Doesn't look like the push is going to be coming out here. The first man taking a bit of a peek. And Grizzy could be caught out here. Sitting there in MBK. Is about to get surrounded as the players push in. They're gonna find 2 with a really nice little spray down there. Looks for the second one, finds his third. Actually tapping away here for his 4th. Just Blurry left now. It was a 1v3 before, but it's a 1v5 this time, and he cannot do it. That's gonna be the second round of the board there for Perception. I was a little bit slow there, my lord. But that was a very good spray down from Krizzy. I was trying to figure out how to say his name, to be honest, guys.
Yeah, it's a pretty difficult name to say, honestly, and especially if you're trying to repeat it after he gets 3 frags, which really made a massive impact as the T's were trying to push onto that site. The smokes didn't really help in that situation. Again, they slowed down too much, weren't confident enough in their ability to frag those players on the site, and ended up being pushing in one by one and all dying slowly, and that ended up making them surrender.
Oh, but a very nice little headshot there from Blurry. Takes down one, and Don't, the last man alive now for the B site. Gonna go down as well, putting this into an even situation. Power misses himself a shot, and suddenly this is looking a little bit scary. He finds the second one. JP goes down, but now just 2 men alive on the site. All Clarted. They've traded in well, and if they can get a bomb plant out of this, they'll be doing well. But Power has something else to say about that. Takes down Welbs, and now just in your left, 1v3. We've seen this so many times. The flank comes in. Jammy James takes him down, takes the bomb down, and no plant coming out from Clarted. But it was a very good effort. They took down 2 CT players. All they had was pistols there.
Yeah, it really affects the economy of the CT side, although they already had quite a good bank to begin with, and the off wasn't lost. But yeah, every little helps, especially in a kind of eco round like that. It's a shame they couldn't get the plant down, or else they might be a bit more prepared for this round.
Absolutely, and as we did see those frags coming out, we didn't see the bomb plant, but we are going to see that buy coming out here for Clarted. And once again, 3 men in mid. This could catch them out. Unless Krizzy does so much work like he did in that last gun round. Really nailing down that site. But I think coming into this round, what they need to be focusing more on, less about the smokes, more about getting Krizzy out of position. We saw that he was able to just sit in MBK and do as he pleased. And really, doesn't pay off. And there we go. JP opens up the round, takes down Power. That is going to be the opening pick, going the way of Clarted for once. And this could just mean they get themselves a slightly easier route into A. The Rotator going to have to find themselves a much longer route in. And we are going to see the rotate coming in now. Jamie James coming up highway, sitting on toxic barrels, but that leaves mid exposed. And they're going to be aware of that. And Welbs getting lit down there, only with 15 HP now. As the push potentially could come in here. A is looking a little bit soft, and Ninja peeks out on mid, takes down Jamie James, and here comes the push. Pushing onto the site now, and he goes down. Krizzy can't do the same work he did last time. He finds one, but he can't find himself the next one. And it is a 4v2 retake situation here. Perception finding themselves a little bit lost there towards the Z. Mid not going to be taken there by the T's. However, with only 2 men alive, there's a lot of work to be done, especially with fresh smokes going down to that boost on Blurry. Could catch them out potentially. Pushing onto the site now, seeing what they can get done. Not finding too much yet. Oh, there you go. Blurry peeks out, takes down one. Ray goes down, and Don'ty has no choice now but to save.
Yeah, and it was quite an overall interesting round. Perception weren't really sure where the T's were. They didn't, Clarted themselves didn't really show much pressure on A at first. They threw a few smokes, threw a few flashes. Could have been a decoy, so at the end they had 2 players on highway who weren't really engaged in the fight on the site, and that ended up meaning that Krizzy had to push through smoke, immediately get killed, and I lost the site for him. So very good round by Clarted. They didn't show too much. They made the CTs start having a guessing game and ending up they guessed the wrong place, and they lost a round.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the problem when you have so much pressure on mid, is that when the rotates come in, especially if they get the opening pick, then suddenly those 2 men in mid, they either leave it or they take the gamble and they stick there. And they made that gamble wrong as the delayed push came in from Clarted, so they were able to just sort of trick them out, which was a very nice play indeed.
And it looks completely different this round, actually. They're not playing at all towards mid. Well, last round they had 3 in mid at the start. Power is actually playing on highway towards A site, just in case the same sort of play happens this round. So it looks like it might be happening, because a lot of players are saying you have smokes on the Clarted side for A.
Yeah, absolutely. Clarted now slowing it down. The economy for Perception here is very low, and as the smokes come in now, Jamie James is going to be around the site, but 3 people are here ready to respond to it. Especially as the push is coming in now. Jamie James in that site. He's going to take down one, goes down himself, and Welbs doing so much damage, finds himself 2. Well, a few days we've seen Welbs, such a powerful player, and JP up on high. As soon as that smoke fades, is going to be an absolute weapon to contend with. And Power with that orb, he's so close up, and there we go. The smoke fades. JP finds one, but he's traded out by Power with a really nice little jumping shot there. Late. He now finds one, goes for the spray down, can't quite make it connect, and now a 1v1. Blurry versus Krizzy. Blurry has the bomb, he has a little bit of positioning here. Place is currently just waited out, but has he heard the footsteps of Krizzy here? He may well have as he takes that peek. Krizzy looking the wrong way, gonna take it out, and he's gonna take him down as well. Gets the clutch and gets the round for his team, keeping them in this game so far. A little bit graphical glitch there, Casper.
No, I didn't actually. I think that's just a cache problem specifically that sometimes it seems to glitch out for some reason. I'm not really sure why it does that. Counter-Strike being Counter-Strike, I guess, but yeah, it was a very interesting round. T's weren't nearly as unconfident to push onto the site. They came in with 2, they ended up getting the frag on the 1 player at quads, and they ended up swarming the site, and it ended up just coming down to aim duels in the end, a little lock on where the smokes are placed. So overall a good round, be able to hold the nerve on the T side with that one-on-one there, which is very impressive, and ended up winning the round quite impressively.
See, rounds like this, Casper, always make me laugh. See, you got the T side. 4 caught up. Oh, hang on for a second. Power, what a push there. Comes out as Squeaky, takes down one. But as I was saying, you see both sides here have 4 rifles and 1 pistol. And it's the same pistol because the economies are so tight at the moment.
Yeah, it's it can make it quite interesting to show. It just demonstrates how difficult these things are. But Don'ty actually gets a frag on B side with that 5-7, so you could reclaim that weapon off the player in pit. And Flakes is just about to push him with bomb. He isn't able to take him down on checker, so the bomb has been spotted towards B. But the CTs are actually rotating very, very slowly, if at all, towards the B side, just leaving Ray alone on the site, most likely trying to hold off this push.
Yeah, there's been some tricky plays so far, but that's not tricky. Power takes one man down, but the 5-7 comes out there. JP takes the head off Ray, and now into a 2v2 situation. The CTs have really let this one go. The bomb can go down here very quickly. Retake is going to have to come in here. Power with the AWP. Not the best weapon for a retake. And JP up on high. Gonna get spotted out there. Krizit trying to just spam him away with a little bit of pre-fire, but he's moved. And, oh, Krizit being very cheeky here. Peeking out with a flashbang and all. Not gonna be going down yet. And Power with the AWP pushing through, but the flashbang goes down. And JP finds another one with the AWP. Giving Clarted their 5th round on the board. And the economy's now not looking too strong for Perception.
Yeah, it was a very good crossfire there, one watching upper, one watching lower. No one was watching vents, so if one player came from that position from the CT side, it might have been a bit more difficult to hold, but the synchronized kills there was a beautiful thing to see, both of the CTs dying at exactly the same time, as it showed they had a synchronized push and a synchronized death.
Yeah, absolutely. The synchronized push works when you hit those shots, but unfortunately that time just not able to do it, and now the mid control comes out because there's no rifles on the side of Perception. They can't go for those long-range duels. He's going to be the B play only. Power ready to respond. No upgraded pistol on him, just a USP, and Blurry there just being a bit of a nuisance. Taking a few shots at those poor innocent pistoling players over on the A site. And as the push now comes in, Welbs is already up on heaven. Not going to spot anything yet, but Don'ty on the rotate is going to get caught out here. Flakes goes down. That's the site awarded straight to Clarted. And this eco round not going to plan. We saw this recently, didn't we? We saw this in the 2nd or 3rd round, I think.
Yeah, something very similar, sort of 4 stacked towards one site, except this time the CT stacked on the exact opposite site, so it made it even easier for Clarted to push onto that B site and win a round. Especially with one player on a USP being the only one. You'd usually want the strongest player playing individually on one site just to make sure you can try and hold it off a bit longer, but that might have been just a decision between them.
Yeah, absolutely, but nevertheless not going to pay off as he is going to go down. Now, in my opinion, Casp, when you're playing with the one man on the site, you need to be taking a little bit of a cheeky peek because you're already at a disadvantage. So you need to give yourself a little bit more of an advantage, maybe information, maybe giving yourself a little bit of knowledge about what's about to happen, maybe even getting yourself a little bit of early damage in. But you need to be giving yourself a bit of an advantage. You can't just sit back and hope that you're going to get that, especially when you haven't got the rifle in your hand.
Yeah, well, that sort of play, it really needs to be done quickly, I think. Like, if you wait a while, the T's can set up for they can set into their positions, they can hold the angles for a push. If you do it quickly, and you do it as fast as possible, you might be able to get some cheeky information off the bat, but in that situation, I think they were a bit slow to the B side, so they didn't really have the chance to get some information there.
Oh, the nade comes out. JP takes down Don'ty with that one single dunk nade. That's all that was required there. And a bit of a pop flash. He's going to be coming into A main, but not going to find anything for his troubles there. And here comes again. Welbs there, caught completely out. JP going to find himself one. A little bit of team damage coming in there, but as I said, Jammy James with that pop flash finds himself ahead of Welbs, but he goes down. Traded up by his teammate. Blurry gets right in there, and now Krizit finds himself a little bit outnumbered. Gonna go down with Ninja taking down Ray on the other side. That is going to be 7 rounds on the board there for Clarted. And this is going to be a really important round here for Perception. They need to keep this economy. They need to be able to put this round together.
Yeah, that round, I think, was disappointing because they had 2 players, Ray, and I think it was Power on the flank, and they actually lit 2 players down to very low HP. So they had lots of chances to get some nice low headshots, maybe take some of the economy off the T's a little bit, but they ended up not doing it. But Glory actually gets a frag on Jammy James before the smoke blooms on mid, and Don'ty's pushes straight into the smoke and gets fragged.
Don'ty, what is going on? Did you see what happened there?
Yeah, he pushed straight through. I think he switched his weapon, I'm not too sure, but he wasn't unable to fire.
Both T players were B-hopping around, and he went for the spray down, couldn't connect the shots.
Yeah, well, it's just a relative mistake. It might be due to something particular, but yeah, just a mistaken spray. He didn't have the composure to try and get the frags in the end, and that ended up losing it, obviously, for him.
I think there's a word for this, Casper.
Probably. that word is definitely a good description.
Ray does a little bit of work, but it's not going to be enough here, as the T's are still going to have that 3v1 engagement. Wherever they go now, they know that they have the advantage going into this. However, Power does have that AWP. All it takes is one click to do the damage. But they're not going to be coming towards him. They're not going to meddle with fire. They're going to take on Krizit instead. And hell, he's still a very viable opponent. It is not going to be any easy task against either of these players, so they better make the right decision here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they know Chris has actually pushed into A main, so if they try and get the A main plant down, he could immediately peek, get the bomb in his own position. It looks like they're actually going towards the CT area to try and catch a player on the flank. And Power looked ready for it, but he's just looked right at the wrong time. He's kind of Luke going down to 5 HP. Can he get the frag? He gets one on Ninja, but does he realize one player is in heaven as the B site is taken by Clarted? And it should be an easy plant.
An easy plant, but after the plant, hell, they've got to get that after plant situation and down. Luckily, they've got the positions already, but there's some utility on Krizit. He has that Molotov. He can get those players out of position, and with the AWP anchoring everything down, a peek's going to be difficult as JP finds out, takes that shot. Power takes him down, and now Flakes all on his own, 1v2 here. Going to find the first headbutt. There's another one to find. Krizit left alive, takes him down and wins himself a 1v1. That is going to be the round on the board. So close there. That was an absolute nail-biter, but Krizit manages to do it.
Yep, the last player, it was a 2v2 on Clarted, and one of the players for Clarted, I couldn't remember exactly, I think they were in checkers. They were holding a bit of a weird angle that allowed them to be spotted before the enemy could see them, which ended up being a bit stupid. They went down 1v2, and it's very difficult to hold a site when you're alone on the bomb behind a big box, for example.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was JP, by the way.
Ah, yeah.
He's a very strong AWPer, however, that time just being a little bit caught off guard. But still, 7 rounds on their T side. This isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Even if they lose all of the next few rounds, you really do want a 9-6 win for a 9-6 side for Perception here, which they can't even retrieve right now. So if Clarted can actually snatch the economy off of Perception this round, they should be in an even better position to stomp on their CT side, as they could go 10-5 up, 9-6 on their T side already. So it's looking very fortunate, or very, very well played from the Clarted side.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the frags are coming in here. JP on 12, Blurry on 10. They're working as a good unit. However, Ninja, normally quite a strong player, only on 3 frags here. So, whoever their manager of Clarted is, you need to be talking to your players and helping them through these difficult times. Maybe go pat for Ninja on the back.
Yeah, well, his AK is called Shroud Spray. I think it's a Shroud Spray version 2.0, so maybe he's really good in pugs, but you just can't quite get that professional or semi-professional play down.
Yeah, absolutely. The boost comes out there, a little bit thwarted by that Molotov. And we are going to see the 2-man push coming into mid. Yeah, Don'ty going to be getting ready for the counter boost. I love this play. It's so cheeky. We're even going to see a boost coming out on A there. JP could be very much caught out here, but he manages to get away. Gets the tag there onto Ray, but he's still alive. This is really important now. Ray forced to fall off, and that comes to nothing. Ray there pushes through, finds the bomb. What a frag there. That's a really important one. The bomb goes down. That is going to shock the T's. And all he needs to do, run away, hide, and hang on to that advantage now. He may be on 32 HP, but he's alive. Same cannot be said for Flakes, the in-game leader of Clarted. Bomb down. In-game leader down. Hopes. Still alive, I think, yes. Still alive.
Yeah, Krizzy here could end those hopes very, very soon if they don't realize he's in this position. Ironically enough, a lot of people call Shroud as Ninja's just about to push in here. Looks like they're setting up for the play towards A, but if Krizzy can stomp them here straight out, if he sees the bomb, takes down Ninja, may be able to take out JP here, and he doesn't. It looks like a complete close down. He ends up being spotted by Blurry on the site, and now it's a 1v3 with him alone without the bomb, which is very difficult.
Absolutely, he needs a very quick frag here if he wants to do anything. He finds Power, gets him with that spray down, turns around, tries to find Don'ty, but he can't quite connect those shots. Tries pulling out his USP to finish him off, but he can't quite do it. That is going to be 6 rounds on the board here for Perception. Looking good, and Clarted is going to go for a save. The money's not looking too bad, but they are going to go for a save going into this next round. And it is going to be the last round and a half in the next round, so trying to get that money perfect for the last round and do as much as they possibly can. Now remember guys, if you want to win a shirt code from Jinx do a load of cool t-shirts from different games, Dota 2, Half-Life, a few YouTubers, look them up. It's pretty cool stuff. You can get a load of merchandise in your pockets. The frags are coming in, but it's only an eco round. Ray doing a lot of damage there. Don'ty following it up. Find win another one. And now just Blurry alive. So if you want to win some stuff, Blurry, what was that? That was cheeky. If you want to win some stuff, oh. Well, you know, hit it up, hit it up. Exclamation mark raffle in chat. See what you can't get, because you never know.
And it looked like Blurry was actually getting a second frag there on Doty, but somehow he managed to get out of checkers without being fragged on 5 HP now. Let's see what Blurry can do in such a disadvantaged situation. He does have armor, he does have the 1 dig, so maybe he has the gift. We'll have to wait up and see.
No, he doesn't. Don't text him down. But hey, he tried. He got one. It was a cute one. And now, last run of the half. Whoever gets this 8-7 is going to be really, you know, setting themselves up in the next half. Just getting that little bit of an advantage. You can pick up pistol, and you already had that advantage. Suddenly, you find yourself in double figures.
Yeah, and it's very good for Perception to be able to come back from, what was it, 4-7, 5-7 before this, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, a 4-7 down on the CT side, which is always disadvantageous, but it's good to see that they're able to pull back. As Power actually sees the bomb with the op and gets the frag on A main with just a bit of an aggressive push there. This
is the round of 8. So 8 teams are gone, 8 teams are left. So quarterfinals.
Yep. And it's just while they're setting up their smokes and nades, I just want to point something out. On almost every buy of Clarted, they've been heading towards this A site at the start of the round, setting up these same very similar smokes, so the CT should be able to read this by now and analyze that there's most likely going to be an A push when they do this, when they show no pressure on B. As Clarted actually picks up Don'ty, but Don'ty picks up Welbs. Before that, in return, will JP spot, who is Crizzy, actually picking up Ninja in A main and getting control of the bomb, so it's good.
Yeah. Very nice push through the corner of the smoke there. Crizzy takes control of the bomb, takes control of A main, and JP with the AWP is going to find him there. What was he doing walking out there? He had the control of the bomb. All he needed was some teammates to help him out, but instead of it, he's going to go down and give a 3v2 straight into the hands of Perception.
Yeah, it seemed like a lack of coordination there between the CTs not quite knowing who's watching Squeaky Door, and that allowed JP to capitalize on it, but it looks like there's going to be a fight between Jammy Jins and Blurry here in the A main area, as they're just trying to push him to get that bomb, because even though that frag from JP was great, they are still in a very, very bad position to try to lose.
Yeah, JP caught a little bit off guard there, and once again winning 1v3, and Ray only needs 1 bullet, takes down the last man, that's Blurry, hits the ground with a thud, and that thud is 8-7 half. Really letting it go towards the end there, Clarted. They've done a good job so far, but, you know, 8-7, still not bad on Casualty side. So, going into this next round, if they can take pistol, you know, they may be able to get themselves into double figures straight away.
Yeah, and Perception are setting up with quite an interesting 2 smokes, 2 smokes, 4 flashes, and 3 players with Kevlar. So it looks like they're going to do some sort of setup. It looks like it's going to be a fake towards A or mid, or maybe even a B split. We can't really tell at this point. But it looks like it's going to be a very, very interesting round.
Yeah, the push coming out. Well, this is a bit cheeky. Ninja finds one, Blurry with another one. Well, the advantage firmly now in the side of Perception as they find themselves a 3v2 situation and a bomb site. So that push not quite paying off. The flash comes in. So the bomb not quite down yet, but CTs are going to need to do some work well. He's going to get caught out. They're not quite dead, but he is caught out indeed. And 2 players ready to receive him. And Ray, they're staying hidden away. Going to find him eventually. Now just Flakes on 34 points of health. Ray on a 3k already in the round. Flakes has a defuse kit, but no armor. And a USP. Going to get caught on this side. And Ray takes himself a 4k and takes his team the pistol round. That's 9-7. Not looking good for Clarted.
Yeah, not at all. It was quite a smart play out of, I think it was Ninja and Blurry towards the EU site as they pushed aggressively, but they did end up getting flanked from the vents and both ended up dying on that EU site, as well as one mid. So it immediately set it off to be very advantageous towards the Ts as the CTs had to rotate back through CT spot. And that ended up giving them a lot of time to plan and therefore win a round.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to see the 4 server coming up from Clarted. It's so close at the moment. Every round counts so much. So we're going to see a few deagles, bit of armor, 5-7s. And we know how strong that second round force buy is on the CT side. Holding those angles, all it takes is 1 click. The enemy is no more.
Yeah, and sorry, you can see a lot more varied out of varied positioning out of Perception this round. Is most of the time Clarted was kind of huddled towards the A site, but here they're spread everywhere. Clarted are looking at all angles, getting ready for any sort of aggressive pushes from the CTs, and weighing up their options, basically.
Yeah, and a bit of early damage there comes out onto Donty. He's on 36 HP here. They're going to be moving together, but there's so many CTs here already. Smoke not the best as the push comes in here. Already taking a little bit of damage there. Finds one head. For a second, finds it as well. And a third! Oh my god, Clarted. What is going on? Blurry, you're a monster on the site. And now the bomb's down out of their control. If JP finds this frag, this is going to be a real dire situation for Power. And he can't quite make it connect. How on earth did that happen? Blurry, however, finds it. And now, just Ray left. Blurry looking for the ace here with his deagle. How has he put his team in this situation? This is so good. And now, Ray, the last man alive with the AK-47. The flash comes out, but Blurry, he's a shark. Ready. Blake finds him, takes him down. Doesn't give the ace to Blurry, but that second round forced by paying off. And what a round there coming out from Blurry.
Yeah, it's looked like Perception didn't even expect him to be there in that position. And if you walk one-on-one in with a deagle, you're not prepared for him to be there. They can't just pick heads, so great aim from Blurry overall. And it looked like the T's were going to win until Blurry completely decimated them on the south side. Just shows how much one individual can really do to save his team from a very tricky situation.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just a tricky situation. Hell, that was a bit of a stomping there from Blurry. If I were him, I'd be keeping hold of that. Throwing away the M4 and just going with the deagle from now on. Man alive, that was good.
It was very impressive. It looks like they're going to do an AXQ once again. Everyone's very, very for the AXQ from the smokes on site, highway, and then as they push into the site with no actual frags coming in yet. It's a bit odd.
Yeah, Blurry finds his first one. Taken down there. The MP9 doing a little bit of damage now in a 2v3 situation here. Hungry for those frags. The man in Squeaky tries to catch out poor Ninja, but it's not going to happen. Pulls out that MP9, sprays him down, and Flakes finds the last man. Looking a little bit dangerous there for Clarted, but they do even out that 9-9 scoreline. And the economy looking a little bit spotty here for Perception. A few people can buy, but a few people can't. That is going to mean that they're still on eco, and they may give that first double figure to Clarted, which is always hard fought out.
Yeah, and definitely in these last few rounds you've seen that they've been using the same sort of strategies on T side, Perception and Clarted. The smokes on A, but they never seem to be able to execute strongly on it. The Power actually takes out Ninja on mid with the deagle, just to show how powerful that weapon can be in that sort of situation from long ranges. But he now is only on 30 HP.
Just to confirm, Tom, Mighty Max is one of the FM players. It's called Banter. Anyway, pistoling players here, not quite finding anything. There is a deagle on Power. He did take down Ninja, however, not too much, especially when JP's tapping away. You don't really want to be walking straight into that.
And Donty's actually heard Blurry in this area, so he got the deagle off of Power, who was lit already, and he was trying to look for him, but it looks like they're going to head more towards B, which might be a good idea in this situation, but there is only one player on the H site, so it's really guessing game where they should go. As Clark JP actually picks up UP Ray from the check shower area, and it looks like that push will be diminished here by one player.
Yeah, the spray comes through, not quite able to connect there. And in a 4v4 situation, I don't really favour the C's here.
Yeah, they don't really have any idea where to go. They could push through mid, but they're a bit clueless, a bit lost. They don't really know where the CTs are. Blurry ends up picking up Crazy, but Donty actually gets the refrag on him with the deagle, and now there's just Welbs on the site to try and defend here. He ends up getting all three frags there. They just they were looking at that angle, but they ended up not seeing him, and he was able to take them all out.
Absolutely, and finally, seeing that AWP come out, first time himself, and Power is going to be picking it up for himself, and no AWP to contest him. So, CT is going to be looking at potentially a little bit scared here, going into this one, especially with that AWP. As soon as that rings off.
Yep, and it could be a very, very interesting round. So we haven't seen any battles with the AWPs, especially as there's only one AWP on this side for Power. He was playing A main, making sure there's no really aggressive pushes once again from the CTs here. But there is one in mid by Ninja. He's right underneath us. The Germans call it Mule, or some other people might call it Rubbish.
Well, rubbish because it's not a very good spot.
One and done spot for sure.
Well, earlier in this game, we definitely saw someone do a little bit more than one. Getting himself, I think it was Ray, getting himself 2 frags in that position.
I believe it was Jammy James and someone, yeah, Ray playing within that sort of area. But it was a definite good crossfire there to make sure Ninja is on his own in that situation. But they are doing Perception are doing all the smokes towards A, but it looks like they're doing some sort of A split position here as Ninja is ready in the mid, and Power is unable to get the frag. Ninja.
Sorry. Blurry finds one from that hidden away position. Ninja trades another one, but it's a 3v situation here, especially as Kriz is so low. Still alive. Now, holding back a little bit. The T's looking a little bit worried. Not quite sure what to do. Especially if Kriz gets himself caught out here. Could be going down, putting his teammates into a 2v2 situation. All JP has to do, peek out, find his head, but Power here with a little bit of a climbing movement up onto upper. Could find out JP. He's going to find him, but he can't quite connect the shots there. He's taken down. Crizzy in the middle takes him down, but now 1v1. Crizzy versus Welbs, and the HP definitely in the favour of Welbs. As that nade goes out, it's going to find him. No need to use that gun. Crizzy goes down. That is going to be the round on the board for Clarted. 4 in a row now. 11-9 is the scoreline.
Yeah, and that let them build up quite a bit of bank in that round. Although they lose quite a lot of it because only one player survived there. But looks like it's going to be quite difficult for Perception to win these next few rounds, as they're seeming to want to kind of, you know, semi-force buy, quasi-buy, just to make sure that they can do more and more economic damage and try and win the rounds.
Yeah, quick pop flash coming out in mid here, trying to split their way onto B.
Oh, Ray actually tied to 5 from a HE, which is one of the bugs they were talking about in Leap Suit earlier. So he's actually an entry fragger, gonna get killed immediately by JP and Flakes, who are trying to push on the side. But Jammy James ends up killing JP, but getting taken down by Flakes in the CT area. And it's now his only Don'ty with the armor and the Tech 9. He's being sprayed through the wall.
Yeah, gonna go down in the end there to Welbs. Welbs is such a big fragger, especially when he's on. You know, when he's on, he is just like everywhere, and all you'll see, Welbs.
Yeah, well, he needs to get into those positions. If they isolate him on a site, like if they keep pushing towards A and he's B, he's not going to get much action. He's not going to be able to show his true ability. So we'll have to see where he ends up positioning himself, as he is positioning himself towards A this round, which seems to be the T's most favourable position right now. But Ninja actually taking down 2 with the Molotov, going over the booster as Jammy James kills another 2 in mid. So it's actually equal, even though very peculiar, that sort of play there, as 2 people are down from a Molotov.
Yeah, the flames cleanse everything, Cap. Everything.
The burning ring of fire, as they say, or the dropper, burning ring of dropper.
Absolutely. But in a 3v3, definitely got to favour the T's here. It's going to be a bit of a 2v1 split here. Going to be giving themselves a 3v1. It's going to be Welbs on his own versus 3, especially if they're pushing together. But Power here. Maybe
not.
No, he's not going to find anything. That smoke just obstructing him a little bit. But they have the utility of their own. As those frags came in so early in the round, there wasn't much utility spent. And yeah, we are going to see a bit of an A execute coming in here. And Welbs gonna find the first man. Power goes down, and Don'ty pushing out door goes down to Blurry. Now just 1 man alive, gonna go down there. Ray hits the ground with a thud, and 13-9. This is looking very, very scary for Perception.
Yeah, especially as they're going to have to either full eco or force up here in this sort of situation so they can buy next round. It looks like they're going to do the same sort of Tech 9 armor and nades thing here again. I wouldn't recommend it. They haven't won many rounds. They've only been doing damage to the economy, and eventually this sort of play won't surprise the enemies. It won't work, and they'll just play the angles to counter the Tech 9s. So it looks like they're going to do a split cross smoke on mid. And they're going to try and take hold of Ninja, who's actually very, very close and ready for this sort of push. He's seeing anti-flash, and he's right behind Ray, Don'ty, and Jammy James, but he fails to spare Don'ty. He actually gets 2, but Jammy James is able to refrag him with the Tech 9 there. Very good and effective play from Ninja, but he does end up getting refragged by Jammy James.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they are on an eco here, so Ninja, he's done his work, he's got himself a 2k. That's going to give Clarted quite a solid advantage going into this round. That means they can just sit back, wait for the T's to come to them.
And one of the most effective points in this round is that T's actually have control of mid, so they could go A or B. The CTs are completely unsure. As Blurry actually takes down the 1 player mid, Jammy James, but they don't know he's the only one there.
And now Power, he finds himself on the site. If he can get bomb plant here, he'll be doing well with his team. But Billy Hunter gets the bomb down in the end. That's a bit disappointing there from Clarted. They got that early 2k. They could have just rushed him down there on that plant, but they didn't. And they let him get that plant. Isn't too good.
Yep, and it's ending up going to mean that they lose that round. It's not too surprising as they are, once again, on the lesser weapons, but they are going to be able to buy here as the lost round money ends up stacking up, and they will have the op on Power once again. Let's see if he can face off with JP at some point and really demonstrate their abilities as offers and their mind game, almost like a game of chess.
They knew they were going to find one, but Jammy didn't even need to go over boost, just sitting on the edge of it. Finds him and puts it into a 4v4 situation here. Jammy now not content with one. Let's go around the edge, try and find himself another one.
Yeah, and it looks like Power is trying to do some wall bangs here that Anders showed in a few videos on his own channel, but it's not going to be able to work as no one is sitting highway. But it looks like once again there's a lot of aggression towards the A site, but Ray is sneaking up on this B site, but does he realize Flakes is on the right here, just waiting for him? Who will peek first? It's a game of chicken.
Yeah, Blurry there, done a little bit of B-hop, strafing around that corner, trying to keep his life in his hands. A little bit health traded out, but so far nothing. Flakes takes the peak finally. He was so patient, but going to get caught out. Ray goes him down, getting into a 4v3 situation here. The bomb being collected. Looks like it's going to be an A hit coming out.
Yes.
Two men on the site. Welds there being Molotov's out. The AWP in place. Doesn't quite take him down, but he's on 61 HP. Welds, counting his lucky stars, is going to be alive at the end of the round. Flash comes out. Doesn't quite catch anything, and there we go. Second Molotov comes in. Hey, James peeking out. Welds now so low, just 20 HP. And Blurry as well. Going to get caught out, but finds himself a frag. Down the lurk. Ray finds himself a frag as well. On the complete wrong site, and the bomb is going to go down. Doty down finally, and Blurry now 1v3. We've seen this so many times, and the Molotov comes in as well just to hinder him a little bit more. Pushes straight through the smoke. He knows it's the only option. Takes down a few shots, but can't quite connect them, and he goes down to Power. Finally, Perception getting themselves a round back on the board.
Yeah, it was a very interesting play. Clarted actually left 2 on A, even though one of the players on B did die without getting any information other than there's one there, and they could be in guard and setting up for B push, but they thought they would play on A, they kept 2 on A, and they ended up not even being able to hold it then, even when most of their force was towards that site, so good play by Perception just to be able to out-frag Clarted.
Absolutely, but Clarted are on 14 rounds here. All they need is 2. JP finds himself Power. Chris, it really should have called that, given the information out, but he goes down as well. JP with a headshot there, a bit overkill, but does it anyway. And now it's a 3v5 situation, and Clarted are 1 round away from match point with a 2-man advantage in the round.
Yeah, and you can see the CTs really swarming towards this B site right now, as the Ts, for one of the first times, have actually set up a B push on a buy round, which JP completely annihilated with his AWP on that angle. And it looks like the T players are going to be trying to get more towards that A site once again.
Yeah, strangely enough though, Krizit, he had the information there. He could have given his teammate that info, but chose not to. Blurry, however, goes down there. Overextending a little bit, but Nino with a nice little push finds Jammy off guard there, takes him down, and that is the bomb as well. So I know slightly what's coming, and Flakes, once again, so aggressive on the side of Clarted, finds him in the side, and Doty, not quite ready, manages to get his gun out in time, takes down Flakes, but he's in a 1v3 situation here. No CCs know exactly where he is.
Yeah,
onto him.
It was a good kind of play from Ninja in that sort of situation. He didn't really know what was going on, but there'd be no pressure, he'd heard no steps, so he just wanted to make sure he could get into a good position, and he got a great advantage from that sort of play, as now it's a 1v3 with Doty, most likely just going to try and save. It was very impressive. It shows that even though he was 3-11 in the first half, this half he's 10-7, so it shows that you can be quite a strong CT lurker or even a good CT player in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And Doty going to be timed out there. That is going to be match point on the board. Looking very scary for Perception. They don't really have the money to get a full buy here. Now I'm going to see a scout coming out on Power. Galil, Ray, and Jammy looking a little bit pale-faced. Only a Tech 9.
Yeah, I know this sort of feeling that Power has right now, where he he's usually the opera on Perception, is he not? He's usually the one who's grabbed the ops first, so he's not been able to get it because his team's just kept forcing these few rounds, and he's not been able to save up for the ops, so he hasn't been able to show how powerful of a player he is. He hasn't been able to show his true potential and really make an impact on the game, so it's a bit of a shame to see him at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Absolutely, and 2 men here ready to respond to this B hit. The smokes come in.
Yeah, and Flakes is ready. Flakes is ready for it, staying in the hit position, but it's quite an off angle, but Doty gets the frag on JP. He does dink Doty back, but they're completely flashed. Crizzy gets the flash shot, and they open up the B site, so this match could continue if the Perception could just keep control of this match.
Yeah, but with Welb's 1v4 here, the economy isn't too strong for Clarted, so potentially saving could do him a world of good. Especially going to the second round, that's exactly what he's going to be looking to do. Falls away. But those 2Ks there, Krizit, Don'ty, both trading their HP for kills and doing it very, very effectively. They get a 2K each, and they give their team a bit of an advantage going into that round.
Yeah, it was a good push onto the site, although it might have been a little bit of luck, as one player did get, the last player on the B side was completely flashed when killed, and the other T players also were completely flashed when they killed him, so it was a bit of an uncomfortable situation to be in, and sadly it just didn't work out in this situation, but good play overall to make sure that they couldn't lose a round, didn't lose any more players on the Perception side after they lost that first player.
Yeah, just to confirm, Clarted are probably top 2 UK team. They're international. They recently won Star Ladder, actually, so yeah, they're pretty decent in general.
Yeah, it's a very impressive feat. What does that cap? It just mean it's not relevant at all. Not true.
Not true.
Ah, damn. I had hope for the UK scene. UK
yeah, they beat Fnatic, mate. Power there with an opening frag. Takes down Blurry. And this half bite for Clarted not looking too good. The push continues, however. JP goes down. He does a little bit flustered here. He takes down one. Goes down himself finally. And yeah, going to try and recover that rifle there.
Yeah, they played this very peculiar. They had the, as I said before, they had Welbs, who's going to get a push with the bomb on the A site. Spots out the bomb Krizzy here, and he is able to get the frag on the bomb player with Ray alone, and Ninja being able to rotate through CT with the AK to try and hold off with Welbs.
Yeah, and Welbs just changing up his position. He's turning around with that rifle armor combo. Ninja doesn't have the armor on him. However, he has an AK-47 and being Molotov that position, going to go down eventually. That is going to be the round, but it looked a little bit scary there. By the way, Mr. Beasties, Clarted lost to Uprise. It was a bit of a domination.
Yeah. What I was going to say about that round is that they played it exactly how I described, where the player with the best weapon, the armor, played alone on the A site for Clarted, and the rest of the CTs pushed instead of playing the usual eco idea of hiding in corners, waiting for the Ts to push into you so you can get the easier frag due to lack of ability.
Yeah, the push comes out again. Welbs finds himself one with a deagle. And JP is not done. He continues pushing, but taken down eventually by Krizzy. However, already getting one frag. They got themselves the opening frag on that round. This is a complete eco. All Clarted. And there we go. Flakes finds himself another one. Now, the Ts are fleeing. Tail between their legs all the way back to the B site, but they're going to find it completely open here. All they have to do is push onto the site, and they will be gifted with a free site. Potentially a free bomb plant, especially Ray taking down Ninja there. 3v3 situation, and the equipment firmly in the hands of Perception. However, a good coordinated push here could find them off guard. Ray finds one, takes down Welbs. Blurry, however, takes down Ray. Suddenly this is looking a little bit scary now. Don'ty on the site, ready to take on whatever comes towards him, but if he can, he's doing well. Both those players so low now, and Power a little bit far away. Don'ty dancing around these boxes, not quite finding anything yet, and Power only on 22 HP. Blurry takes him down, and that's the clutch. Clarted win it off an eco. Oh my god, Casp, what just happened?
It looked like a complete crumbling from Power there. He missed so many off shots that just completely failed. And he ended up leaving the player on site, and he got double pushed. He didn't know what to do, and then once again a bit of a choke. And that completely gave up the round there. I thought it was a bit peculiar that all three of the CTs were pushing through vents, but it worked out perfectly. It's such an unsurprising play that it ended up catching the Ts completely off guard, and therefore they won the match off semi-eco.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
And I can now confirm that Clarted are looking to take Shrewsland this year. Shrewsland is the biggest event in the calendar as far as CSGO is concerned. Well, to be honest, as far as esports is concerned, Shrewsland is it's the marker. If you can win Shrewsland, hell, you can win anything. So Shrewsland, it's going to be a big one this year. Keep your eyes out for that.
Oh, yeah.
And